Hello everyone, my name's Paul. I'm the owner of RPMRacing in Capalaba, and today we're going to go through a quick tutorial on Lime Rock Park and the Mazda MX5 Global Cup. First thing that I'll say is that the track is fairly simple in terms of the layout, but there are some complicated corners. So this particular tutorial is designed to help you through the entries and exits, as well as where the apexes are. So there are a few laps to go through, and we'll just use that to show you how or the best entry, exit and apexes to choose. And I'll just run you around 4 or 5 laps. The last lap there, I think we run a just over a 59, so sort of reasonably respectable time. All right, let's get into it. So to start with, coming down the main straight here, we're going to end up with the markers on the left hand side, and we want to brake fairly hard on the second last marker, so the number 2, and then let off the brakes slightly and allow it to trail brake into the corner as we begin to turn, to take the first part of that long sweeping right hander. There's 2 apexes on the right hander, one at the beginning, one at the end. So let's just go through and I'll explain what's going on. On the left hand side down the bottom, you'll see the steering wheel, as well as the 3 inputs, the clutch, brake and accelerator, and you'll be able to see how much I'm pressing on each one as we go through that corner. Alright, let's go. So shooting down this main straight, we're going to look for that number 2 marker. Going to hit the brakes hard and then begin to turn in, grab that apex, let it swing a little wide, and then pull back into the apex again and power out. So the next corner is a left-hander, and this one's quite tricky. If you run too wide, then you'll get into marbles and you'll lose traction. So you want to make sure that you keep it about mid width of the road on the entry. You can go a little bit closer to the left-hand side as you come in, but just keep on the accelerator hard until you get to the beginning of this next corner. Take the center line through there and then start to brake just lightly into the corner for probably a quarter of the corner. From there, you want to move the car to the left to try to hit the apex as you see the ripple strip. So not at the beginning, not at the middle, but at the end of this particular corner is where you want to hit that apex. When you are driving around this corner, you'll notice that the car will get quite loose. That's why you don't want to be on the brakes, and also you can use the accelerator to bring the car back into line again as you come through that corner. So we'll watch driving through that corner now, and you'll be able to see that at the beginning we brake just into the corner in the center, and then we use the accelerator to steady and stabilize the car through the end of the corner to try to hit that apex. Alright, let's see that. So you can see the brake. Now we'll steady the car through, hit that apex and accelerate. So once we come through there, the reason we want to be on the left-hand side is because that's the entry side for the next right-hander. Now this right-hander is fairly tricky because it's all about positioning the car so that you hit that apex on the right-hand side, but try not to mount any of these curves because they will unsettle the car and you'll end up off the road. So you'll see that as we go into this corner, all we're doing is letting off the accelerator. We're not actually hitting the brakes to go through here, but we'll come off the accelerator just as we hit that light patch of asphalt in the center of that corner, and then we'll try and just touch the inside of that ripple strip on the right hand side, and you'll see the apex is kind of early through that corner, and then we'll power back out of it after we've hit the apex, just making sure that if we do drift to the left hand side that we don't go too far and end up on the gravel. So let's see us go through this corner. Okay, this main straight here, which is a series of curves, it's really just a matter of ensuring that you take the quickest route through. So basically we end up just driving slightly over the ripple strip on the right hand side that you can see on the right hand side there. Head straight down, grab the left hand apex on the next left hander there and keep to the left hand side of the road. Coming into this sweeping right-hander here, it's quite a difficult corner to get right, and there's nowhere to go if you get it wrong. You'll end up hitting the barrier on the left-hand side. So what you need to do is line it up on the left-hand side here. Keep as far to the left as possible, and then just dab the brakes as begin the entry to the apex to try and grab that apex just slightly late. And the idea is that the extra just tap of the brakes will tend to turn the car in a little bit harder than normal. So let's just watch us go through there. As soon as we get past the apex, we get right back on the accelerator hard, up over the top of the crest. Now going over the crest, you'll notice that there's quite a dip afterwards, and the rear end of the car will get quite live. So we'll just watch us go through there, and I'll stop the video again as we get to the top of that crest. So just going over this crest here, the car will get very, very light. You need to make sure that you account for that and you don't turn hard after you hit over the top here. So as you can see, the car's just loading up now. This car's going to start to get a little bit light in the rear end, and it will oversteer quite severely as we come over this crest. So it's a matter of balancing the car, keeping it straight as possible. If you're struggling going over this crest, let off the accelerator. You'll see on the left hand side the accelerator's up full, so we've got full power coming over here. Letting off the accelerator just slightly will steady the car again, and then as you progress and become more confident going over this crest, you can hold the accelerator in. So it's really just a matter of no serious turning after you go over this particular crest. Coming into this next right-hander, you keep left again. We're going to dab the brakes just on the entry and try and hit the apex. Once we've hit the apex, we'll smoothly gain the accelerator again, so we're not slamming the accelerator or hitting the accelerator hard as we come out of any of these bends. We're just going through them quite lightly and feathering the throttle back in and letting the car drift to the left hand side, and we can use up all of the ripple strip on the left. Okay, so the final corner, and this one's quite tricky to get right because there are some bumps there if you hit it wrong. You also want to be in the right gear because fourth gear is going to be too short for going down this particular hill. So as we go down, we tend to change into fifth a little bit short, just so that we're in that fifth gear to come through that particular bend. There's no need for any braking into this bend, but we tend to let off the accelerator. What you don't want to do is let off entirely. That will upset the car and it'll be just like braking. The rear end will step out. To avoid that, just come down the hill, hold about a quarter of the accelerator on as you go through the corner, and then as you hit the ripple strip on the right hand side, or just touch it lightly should I say, then you can feed the accelerator back on again so that you don't overshoot and end up in the grass on the left hand side. So we'll watch us go through there. Okay, so now I'm going to take you through this lap without stopping. So we're going to flat accelerator all the way down the main straight till we get to the number 2. Hit the brakes, then we'll start to turn in and trail brake. Touch the apex there, let it go wide, then we want to pull it back into the apex again. Now just feather the throttle through there, then hit it hard, right through the middle, hit the brakes now, and let off, and accelerator to steady the car. We want to grab that apex on the right, not too far on the left, try and straight down this straight. On the left, we're going to dab the brakes now, shoot in. There's a bit of a mistake there, fairly serious mistake. So we'll pick up the pieces and we keep going. And we use all the ripple strip there. Down here we'll change early into fifth and quarter throttle, full throttle again, down the main straight and repeat. So as we come down here, we'll keep an eye on the markers. Number 2, hit the brakes, start to turn, trail brake, let off a little bit, we can run the car around here without an accelerator. A little bit of accelerator, pull that car back into the centre, and a little bit of brake on the entry, pull into the apex, again. Just be careful as we come out of here, we don't go too far over to the left. Keep it straight. On the left hand side, a dab of the brakes on the entry, grab the apex, hit the accelerator again, nice and straight as possible over that. Dab of the brakes, hit the apex, accelerator again, down the hill, 5th gear, quarter throttle, full throttle, and we'll repeat the process over again. So remember to trail brake just into here. You'll notice that the trail braking will happen. Don't need to trail brake all the way through the corner, just at the beginning there, just to settle the car. Remember to take the centre of the entry here and just brake slightly on the entry. Use the accelerator to stabilise the car back again and try and keep it on the left there so you can get the apex on the right. As straight as possible down through here. Keep to the left, dab of the brakes, and we'll pull into the apex. Accelerator again, straight as possible over there. That time was good. Dab of the brakes, into the apex. Accelerator again, using up all that ripple strip. 5th gear. Quarter throttle through here. Full throttle. And down the main straight again. And that's our laps of Lime Rock Park. Thanks for watching.